On today's show, it was the NBA Finals rematch that we were all waiting for, and the Celtics outlasted the Warriors in overtime. Will this help them in the event of a real NBA Finals rematch? Plus, we draft our all-star teams based on the fan votes, all of that and much more coming up on today's Locked On NBA on a Friday.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome to Locked On NBA Friday. I'm Wes Goldberg, and I'm joined by Adam Mares, and we come to you every Friday here on the Locked On NBA feed. However you might be tuning in, YouTube, Odyssey, wherever you get your podcasts, thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. We'll get to our all-star fan vote draft and Bulls Pistons in Paris in a minute, but let's start in Boston, where we had an NBA Finals rematch between the Celtics and the Warriors. It ended up being a really good game with the Celtics winning 121-118 in overtime. After struggling for most of the game, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined to score 10 points on 3 of 5 shooting in overtime. The Celtics got big plays on both ends down the stretch from Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon. Steph Curry missed 3 separate kill shots by my count at the end of regulation and in overtime. And it was the Celtics who outlasted the Warriors. Adam, I know it's a regular season game, but this was a game that had a playoff feel, especially in the fourth quarter and in overtime. How big of a win is this for the Boston Celtics?
I don't know if it's a big win. It is a good win, though, because they snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. I mean, this was one that I thought was over. I think if you're Golden State, you're kind of kicking yourself because this was a huge opportunity to kind of make a statement win. You got your guys back, like, okay, second half of the year, we're coming here. Here it is. And I think they still accomplished that goal. We can get to that in a second. But for Boston, they're on an 8-game win streak. They have the number 1 record in all of the NBA. And every win now, the margins get so thin that every win like this just continues to separate yourself. So for me, this was a big one, not just because it was the Warriors, but because it was one of those games that you probably were supposed to lose given how the game flow went.
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out what the Celtics were trying to do in the first half. Like everything about this playoff feel and everything that I just said, it didn't feel like the Celtics really responded that way. It kind of felt like somebody needed to sort of poke them and remind them to wake up and, hey, you're playing on national TV against the defending champs. Like you should probably get up for this one. They've got all of their guys. You've got all your guys for the most part on both sides. And so the Warriors come in. They start Draymond Green at center. Kevon Looney goes to the bench. Immediately, you're getting that sense from Golden State. It's like, okay, cool. Like, they're doing like the NBA Finals lineup that helped them win the championship last year. They're making adjustments based on this game and all this stuff. And they come out with that level of urgency and execution that you expect the defending champs and a team like the Warriors, a veteran team like them, to come out with. And like the Celtics they reminded me of like a high schooler who just sort of knows that he's going to fail the test. So he just doesn't do his homework and he acts too cool for school. That's what the Celtics were. And they were just like, wow, we're too cool for this. It's only January, whatever. And then for whatever reason, they kicked it into gear in that fourth quarter. They started winning sort of the 50-50 balls. They were diving on the ground. They were doing all those things. They started getting to the rim in a way that they were just sort of not in the first half. And you got to give them credit. To your point, it kind of felt like the Warriors were supposed to win this one. They outshot Golden State. They outshot Boston overall. They scored more from 3-point range. They had all those things going for them. Steph had his moments. He had 29 points. Jordan Poole had 24. Clay had 24. Andrew Wiggins had 20. Like it kind of felt like they were going to win this game. But then, even though the Celtics didn't shoot very well, just 39.8% for the game, they won the points in the paint. They won the second chance points. They won the fast break points. They won the turnover battle. They won the rebounding battle. Like they won all the other things.
Right. I didn't realize that, honestly. I'm pulling up those stats, the team stats now as you're talking, and it is kind of overwhelming, all the different boxes that they check. But you talking about, the energy to start this game. I mean, this is kind of the theme of the regular season in the NBA. This was a big game for Golden State. I do feel like this was a sort of line of demarcation game. Like, okay, here it goes. What did Jaylen Brown tweet last year? The energy is about to shift. I feel like this was an energy's about to shift game from Golden State. They know they need to start kicking it into high gear. So it's not I don't want to. You can't be too upset. I don't think at Boston for not having that energy, especially when they pulled it out. Now I think they got a little bit lucky down the stretch, as you mentioned. Steph Curry missed some shots that usually he
Yeah.
makes, and they were for 4 or 5 minutes. It felt like they were on the edge of just putting this thing away, and they never did. Tip your hat to Boston. But to flip it to the other side, a lot of people are talking about the Western Conference. It looks pretty weak. I think it's a little bit overblown. But one thing I will say is that I still think that the best team in the Western Conference is the Golden State Warriors. And tonight, if they would have won it, I think that noise would have been really loud. But even though they didn't win it, I still saw enough to say, this team's really good. A sleeping giant. They know exactly what they're doing. And then you look at the standings, they lose tonight and drop to 23 losses. But the 5th seeded Dallas Mavericks have 22 losses. They're 1 game back from being the 5 seed. I think they're in fine position.
I think they're just fine. I don't really know a whole lot of people that were that worried about the Warriors, including the Warriors. Like when they got their guys back, you just knew what was. My one issue I think is defensively. There was just too many lapses down the stretch. You had the big Jaylen Brown take at the end there, and then Al Horford getting that wide open three. It just feels like they're kind of band-aiding over some of their defensive concerns. Are asking a lot of Draymond Green, a lot of Klay Thompson to have to guard Jaylen Brown one-on-one in that instance. They're asking a lot from Wiggins. You're able to attack Jordan Poole basically whenever you want.
Yeah.
Steph Curry is as good as he can be defensively, but there's just limitations based on his size. Like Dante DiVincenzo not giving you much off the bench. He's like an every other night at best kind of guy, even still for the Warriors. Like Kevon Looney coming off the bench was interesting. He's always impactful, even though the box score doesn't really say it. I know that they didn't have Jonathan Kuminga tonight, but like really, like that was going to be the difference in this game. I don't really think so. So the bench is still a concern, but the trade deadline is coming up. Maybe that's something that they could do. But overall, with the Warriors, like they're right there with the top dogs in the Western Conference. Like every top contender in the West, you could pick holes at a little bit, and those are the holes you would pick at if it's Golden State. I do think that this is a big mental win for the Boston Celtics, though, because for whatever reason, they kicked it into gear and they get this win. And we're not that far removed from the Celtics basically going into San Francisco and getting blown out in the first finals rematch, right? And everybody's like, why aren't you treating this with the appropriate level of urgency? And to see the Celtics do this, like the Celtics are so loaded, you can argue that they're the deepest team in the NBA, but if they have a weakness, if we're going to pick holes in them, it's sort of just like the mental stuff, like the mental toughness, for lack of a better term. And I thought, like, I was like, oh, is this going to be another one of those games for the Celtics? And it turned out to be the opposite of that. And they won a game that they probably really shouldn't have won in overtime against the team that they just lost to in the finals.
I would say it this way. I don't know if it was like in a big boost to them as much as losing this would have been a huge blow. I do think it would have been a psychological blow had they lost it, but I don't know that you can get yourself too excited. And those mental lapses you're talking about defensively with Golden State, I mean, they look like a team that's in November, because for them, this kind of feels like November. It feels like the first week of a rebirth of the season to them.
Shouldn't mention Jason Tatum. He played 48 minutes tonight, scored 34 points on 9 of 27 shooting. He kept shooting, even though he was missing, but he was big in overtime. The key stat from Jason Tatum is that he played the final 41 minutes of the game through regulation and overtime. Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla, after the game, was asked, like, hey, was that the plan? He was like, not really, but he was in a flow. And I was like, was he? Because he kept missing a bunch of shots in the middle of the game, but whatever. He was in a flow. He was playing well, all this stuff. And he played the final 41 minutes. So all that stuff about, like, did it have a playoff feel? That was Jason Tatum sort of stepping up and being like, you know what? After we kind of walked through and slept through the first portion of this game, he probably deserves the most credit for the Celtics kicking it up a notch because of how he played.
I would say probably him. But I'll give you one guy who I think is the X factor, both in this game, but also for the Celtics at large, and that's Al Horford. I mean, that guy knocked down some shots late, made a big block late. He's a little long in the tooth, but we're seeing this with players, especially when they gracefully segue into being just role players. I mean, he's just one of the guys that at his peaks are still very, very high. Maybe his consistency isn't always there. He can't play it at the same minutes. But tonight, when the going got tough, he was one of the most impactful players on the court. And I kind of count on that from him.
What does Draymond Green say? You've got 82 game players and you got 16 game players. And Al
16.
Horford is now at the point, and Draymond said that at a point in his career where he had to be more of a 16 game guy than an 82 game guy. And maybe
Right.
Al Horford's there. He's more of a 16 game guy than an 82 game guy. You're right. It's a good shout out. He had the big block on Jordan Poole there at the end, and then obviously the 3-pointer that
was big.
Yeah, it maybe there was like 2 minutes left in overtime, so maybe too strong to say dagger, but it was ultimately the dagger. It was the one that kind of pushed the Celtics too far away. And by the way, Boston almost fumbling that game away at the end. We should at least mention it, but held on. They held on and they get credit. I don't know. I think this was a big win for them mentally. I know you say it would have been bigger if they would have lost this game. I still think they sometimes can have that too cool for school attitude. I think this was actually a big win for them to the point where they're like, oh, you know what? We can approach this with the appropriate level of intensity and actually come out with a win. We're not too cool for school. We can actually care about a regular season game every once in a while. And look at them, number 1 record in the NBA now.
Listen to Golden State coming up now. They've got tomorrow night at Cleveland, so they have a back-to-back against one of the better teams in the NBA. They follow that up a couple nights later. They come home and play Brooklyn. Without KD, that one should be a comfortable win. But then they've got the Memphis Grizzlies right after that, who are currently obviously tied for number 1 in the Western Conference. So 3 games in a row: Cleveland, Brooklyn, Memphis. As they're trying to right the ship, they're going to get some tough battles.
Tough stretch. All right, coming up, we draft all-star teams based on the fan voting third returns. Which one of us is going to get Austin Reeves? That's coming up next. But first, today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by LinkedIn. As a small business owner or hiring manager, you know that success in 2023 all depends on the team members you surround yourself with. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open roles with people who have the skills, values, and experience to help you achieve your goals. LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to your open jobs with targeting tools. They go beyond resume data by using insights from your job post, company, and their 875 million member profiles to put your post in front of the most qualified candidates. Identify the most qualified candidates on LinkedIn Jobs and connect with them fast and for free. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to screen and rate applicants based on your job qualifications, all on one platform. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. The NBA revealed its third and final NBA All-Star fan vote returns before captains and starters are announced next week. We know that there are going to be changes, a lot of them, once the players, coaches, media votes, final fan votes are all taken into account. So I thought we could just go off of these returns to draft our all-star team. So we're gonna do 2 teams of let's try to get to 10. Maybe we only get to like 8, but let's just keep going.
Okay, we get to 10.
All right, let's go 2 teams to 10. You get 10, I get 10. We're going to be using any of the players that are included in the third returns. We can't use anybody that's not included, even though we know they're going to ultimately end up being included. The first player that comes to my mind is somebody like Bam Adebayo. He's going to end up as an all-star reserve, but he's not on these returns, so he can't make the team. There's several other players that are like that. So, meanwhile, there's guys like Derrick Rose and Austin Reeves, who I mentioned before, and Russell Westbrook and other guys, Kevon Looney, for example. All these guys are available for us to draft if we so choose. So 2 teams of 10. Adam, you're going to represent the Western Conference. LeBron is the leading vote getter in that conference. So you are team LeBron. You start with LeBron on your team as your captain. I, of course, am representing Team Giannis, and I have Giannis for the Eastern Conference. Since LeBron has the most votes, you get the number 1 pick.
I'm going to go with Steph Curry. I'm going to add Steph Curry. He's the most exciting person you could add next to LeBron for an all-star game. He's going to get his threes up from 35 feet. He knows what he's doing. And plus, LeBron's trying to pander right now. He wants to be in Golden State. I can see it from a mile away. He's trying to butter him up and say, hey, man, I'm not liking my situation in LA. Why don't we team up? Man, imagine how cool this could be.
Yeah, your team just lost to the Celtics in overtime. Wouldn't you want to rather come play for the Lakers? We're winning over here.
No, I think he wants to leave the Lakers and go to Golden State.
Oh,
I think he's done with La La Land. He's like, man, these guys don't know what they're doing.
Kaminga, Moody, Wiseman for me. Who says no?
Oh God, why did I
All
bring
right,
this
I
up?
like it. So you've got LeBron and Steph. That's tough, but I've got Giannis. So I'm gonna go. Okay, so all right, this is a made up exercise, but is Kevin Durant like injured in this because he's injured in real life?
I think
If I
he'll be
draft
back. Won't
Durant,
he be back? I mean, he should be back in a couple weeks anyway. So I
I
think
know,
he's
but he.
back. Let's just say he's back. It's more fun.
All right. Mm,
You're still not going to take him?
I'll take Durant. I'll take Durant.
All right.
I'm
I was
not gonna
going to say,
overthink it.
what are you doing, man? Come
I'm gonna
on.
take. All right,
It's
you're up.
clearly Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, same. It's the same. Like I've got Giannis and Durant. They're both really long, but also you need shooting next to Giannis. Durant's the best shooter available. I got Durant.
All right. So if I have LeBron and I have Steph Curry, I have great floor spacing. I have a great pick and roll partner. What do I need? What do I need? Probably a little bit more shooting. Man, where am I going to go? No, you know what? I'll go with Jason Tatum. I'm going to take Jason Tatum. Well, you have
That's a good
Durant.
pick.
I'll find somebody that's going to play defense. Not me. I'm not playing LeBron James. I'm not playing defense, but I got somebody to come out here and do it for me.
That's a good pick. Ooh. All right. I'm not gonna overthink this. I'm taking the best player on the board. I'm taking Jokic. I'm taking your boy.
Dang it! I thought I was leaving him on the board because I thought there was no way you would take him.
No, you can space the floor from three. He's a good.
Oh,
He can run pick and roll for Giannis. I mean, he
I
can
got too
screen.
cute.
You got to. I'm look. Sometimes you just can't overthink it. I think we over fetishize fit a little bit. Jokic is clearly the best player on the board. I'm taking him.
Yeah. All right. So I got. Let's see. I got two forwards and I got a guard. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Ja Morant. He might be the MVP of the All-Star game this year. He's
Mm.
gonna be so fast. You're gonna have a lot of spacing. I'm gonna out athletic you. Even though you have Giannis, it's gonna be tough to do, but I'm gonna do it. Ja Morant.
All right. Now we're getting interesting here, aren't we? You mentioned athletes. Maybe I'm just gonna double down on skill here. Oh, I do need shooting. I need spacing
Oh
around
man, I'm not
Giannis.
guarding anybody on the perimeter for you.
You're not. I don't know if I care. All right. Again, I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm going Luca. I'm going Luca. He can. You got to respect him from 3-point range. It's gonna be a battle about who's actually controlling the ball, but that's what the All Star game is for. So I'm going Luca.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Zion. I'm
I
gonna go
like
with
it.
Zion. I'm gonna pair him with LeBron, and I'm gonna be hyper athletic around Steph.
Wow.
I like it.
Wow. So you don't have a traditional center, and I've got like. You could argue I've got three of them. Durant could play center a little bit. So, wow. All right. I really
You're
need
not
a
gonna take
shooter.
another center, are you?
I know. I could go Embiid here and really mess things up. I don't think I could do it though. All right. Who's the best shooter still available? Let's see. There's
You got Donovan
Kyrie.
Mitchell, you got Kyrie, you got
There's
Dame
Donovan
Lillard.
Mitchell. Is Dame there? Dame is there. Oh, give me
Of course
Dame.
he's there.
I'm going Dame. Give me Damian Lillard. There you go. I think you just roped me into something, but that's all right. I'm going
That's
Damian
all
Lillard.
right. You know
So
what?
I like my starting five there. That's pretty good. All right.
All right. Do I have a starting five yet then?
You do.
LeBron,
Yeah.
Steph,
You've
Tatum,
got
Zion, who else?
Steph, Morant, Tatum,
Oh yeah,
LeBron,
I
and
did take
Zion.
Ja. Okay, I did take Ja.
You might need some size
Um,
off the bench here, though.
you know what? I like my team too. It's like nimble, it's fast. But
Yeah.
I do need some more shooting now as I get to my bench. And I'm gonna go with the guy who's maybe the most fun, one of the most fun guys you can get in an all-star game. Kyrie Irving. I'm taking him.
You can have them.
Hey,
I've
an
got no
all-star
interest.
game. You're not trying to win a championship.
I don't even want to. I don't even want to spend time. I'm be honest. I don't even want to spend time with Kyrie in the locker room before. You can hang out. You got LeBron, Kyrie. Go for it.
Okay.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna take this guy just so that you don't take him.
Okay.
You're not gonna be able to match up with my size at any point because I'm taking Embiid.
Oh man. So you're going all centers. You're going with the all center lineup. I think you forgot this is the all-star game, man. This is the all-star game. We're not looking for rebounds. We're not looking for any of that. We're jacking up three-pointers. And
Embiid can hit some threes. That's all right. That's all right. You're never gonna be able to match up with my size, and that's okay.
Right. I'm going to take Donovan Mitchell then. So I got another shooter. My goodness, my bench is going to be on fire. I got Steph, Kyrie, and Donovan Mitchell. That's 3 of the 4 best shooters in this entire thing.
It is.
At
I was
least
hoping
from
you
the
weren't going
guard
to take
spot.
Donovan Mitchell. All right, give me Booker. Give me Devin Booker.
Is he on there? Oh, yeah, he is way down there.
Yeah, he's way down there.
388,000. Wow.
Suns fans are not happy these days, so they're not voting, but he's down there.
My goodness. All right, that is a pretty good pick. My team is, man, all vibes. No defense, no size, all vibes. All right, I'm gonna go with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of my
I like
favorite
that pick
players
for you.
this year. SGA, more guards.
That's a good pick for you. All right, let's see. Let me take a quick inventory here.
And now we're getting to the guys we so clearly don't want. Like James Harden is on the board, Trae Young is on the board. I could tell you don't want him.
Pass. LaMelo just rolled his ankle, but it doesn't sound like it's gonna be that serious. So I think he'll be back. He's actually quietly a really awesome 3-point shooter. I could go him to try to space the floor a little bit. Paul George is a solid floor spacer, but is he healthy for the All-Star game? I don't know. Because I never know with him. He's gonna load manage the All-Star game. I mean, it's Klay Thompson, but it's not.
Man,
It's not the
you gotta go
same.
Klay.
It's not the same. Klay
You're trying to
Thompson.
build a championship roster. I think you
I
forgot
am.
what the All-Star game is.
Nope. Trying to win it. All right. You know what? Give me my man Jimmy Butler.
There you go.
I don't know why, but I'm taking him.
He doesn't seem like. Does he go off in the All-Star games?
No, he does. He barely even plays in the All-Star games. You don't care about him, but I'm taking
Yeah.
him because I have to.
Where is the All-Star game this year?
Utah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's why
Boss
I'm
is gonna
picking
be upset.
Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, there it is.
You don't got any size? I want to see Embiid. I want to
All
see
right.
Jokic. I want to see these guys out there in the corners trying to guard my guy Lowry.
I like it. All right. Dang, that was a good pick. I should have picked Lauri Markkanen. I forgot that he was there. Shoot. All right. Give me LaMelo. I think he'll be back. He's a good shooter. Give me LaMelo.
Man, I can't believe you.
Now we got some
Tyrese
All-Star game pizzazz.
Took him over Tyrese Halliburton. This is an offense. I can't believe it. And here, just to show how great I really have done here, Anthony Davis still on the board, right?
Yep.
I'm taking AD. So I'm worried about me not having bigs. I've got LeBron, Zion, Anthony Davis, and Lowry Markkanen. So that's all the size you need in an All-Star game. What else am I doing? Then I just got shooters around there. My team is winning 190 to 170.
Who's going to be motivated here that's left to really show out?
No, Paolo Banchero, but come on, you can't take him. He's not going to be there.
No. Julius Randle would be motivated to show out, but can he is the bigger question. All right, give me.
Bottom of the barrel here, man.
I know. All right, just give me Paul George.
Oh, that hurt your soul to say, didn't it?
It did. I really didn't enjoy. I wanted to take somebody fun, and I just ended up. I really wanted to just take Austin Reeves just to put a punchline on the joke.
I'll tell you what, the voting now where the fans only get a portion of it, it kind of is the right thing when you see things like this, man. Like this list of guys here, it's kind of uninspiring.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you won the draft.
I'm telling you, I got the All-Star game's about vibes, man. You don't need. You got all these like I gotta check every box.
All right, I had the last pick, so can I actually send Paul George back to the store?
There you go.
Put Austin Reeves on my team, baby. Let's go, Austin Reeves. We need a glue guy. All right. What country should the NBA go to next? We're going to talk about that here on Locked On NBA. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all the fat and the calories? Then you have to check out Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat a little bit healthier this year. And if you're like me, where you want to eat healthier but don't want to compromise taste, then man, do I have the thing for you. You've got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious that you won't think that they're good for you. They're perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in some unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy. Only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. So perfect for your post-workout snack. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built bars at built.com, but now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs, or whatever other flavor that you like. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter and churro. You can thank me later. Built Bar is a proud sponsor of Locked On NBA. All right, the Bulls beat the Pistons in the NBA Paris game. So I know that has you thinking of this week's power rankings, Adam.
It does, because are you a fan of this, by the way, playing regular season games abroad, in Europe? Are you a fan of it?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Europe or wherever. The Heat and the Spurs played in Mexico City earlier this year. I think it's really cool. I like to see how the crowd reacts to stuff. Like the Paris people, I know it was also Paris Fashion Week, and I wasn't sure if the fans knew which event that they were at, because every time something happened, or they would just sort of politely clap. But it was cool. I'm good with it.
I'm curious with this one. Like, I did just Europe. I thought about going to Lagos, Nigeria. I think it'd be cool to go there. Australia obviously has a lot of players. You can get down to South America, even Brazil, Argentina has a lot of NBA players. But I kept it just to Europe. And I would like to see it as the NBA tries to expand their reach and this or that. But also, there's this weird thing right now with NBA players where they seem to really hate Euros, the American-born players.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to go to Serbia this last August and watch Jokic take on Giannis in Belgrade. And Wes, the passion those fans have when they don't get to watch their guys play, their players play, that for a lot of them is the one and only chance they'll ever get to watch Nikola Jokic play and Giannis Antetokounmpo live. Like, I think it's good and would be good for American-born fans to go to some of these places and play what is essentially a road game, right? Like, you're going into their turf. And just kind of be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize it was like that over here.
I would love to do that. I mean, it sounds like an awesome experience that you had. And look, these are super competitive leagues, and I think that's lost on a lot of Americans who think it's like NBA or nothing.
Right.
But these are really, really competitive leagues with teams that really, really matter to some of those local fan bases. And you look at the top of the league right now. Great history, yeah. And you look at the top of the league right now, it's a lot of Europeans that are all on my all-star team. So
yeah, there you go. All right, so my first game I have here, and I tried to make this, like, if you're going to go abroad, I don't think we should make it that important of games, just because when you mess with the schedule, like, you don't want to make this a divisional game. I know we had Detroit and Chicago today, but I think it would be best if this was like an interconference. It's not an exhibition, but we also don't want it to ruin somebody's season.
right.
So we got Belgrade, and you've got the Nuggets taking on the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
Here's why I like this one. The Nuggets, obviously we know why. It's Nikola Jokic. It's a home game. You can make it Denver's home game. You play in Belgrade, it's going to feel like a Nuggets home game when it's there. But then I tried to pair it with, let's bring some of the best American stars over there. Let's make it like kind of a, home game for Jokic, but let's send Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving over there for a little game like that. I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it beats. I mean, I know Killian Hayes is from France, but I don't really know how much they care. I have no idea. But Pistons Bulls, it was sort of like that's kind of what the NFL does with their London games. You're like, the Jaguars again?
Jacksonville, always Jacksonville.
So, send the Brooklyn Nets. Why not? And like the Brooklyn Nets don't really have a home court advantage either. So it's not like they'd be losing on anything, even if it was one of their scheduled home. If they play 40 instead of 41 home games, it's not going to really matter for them. So
I just like the idea of like, man, send some people out there. I think the NBA and the American audience of the NBA would really learn some interesting things. Number 2, you knew this one was coming. Athens, Greece. Let's get the Milwaukee Bucks versus the LA Lakers.
Okay, the Lakers
We're
because
of
LeBron.
Home game for the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to send LeBron James out there, the Lakers team at least. There's a rich history of basketball in Greece, by the way. I mean, I don't think a lot of people know this, but when you start to name the top countries historically, Greece is on a short list there. And then obviously having a 2-time MVP and Giannis, 1-time champion, give them a marquee team like the Lakers.
I love it. I feel like a player like LeBron, who's so always thinking about his business and stuff like that, would actually really enjoy this opportunity to go over and expand sort of what could be his fan base and his customer base ultimately. Like that, when
Yeah.
star players are looking at this potentially, like, that's an opportunity to grow your business. So I like it.
Next one I have Ljubljana, Slovenia. Let's get
Okay.
Dallas Mavericks versus the Miami Heat.
Oh, why are you sending the Heat over there? Nobody cares about them.
We're sending the Heat over with a little rematch of the NBA Finals, 2 times the NBA Finals.
Oh,
Miami Heat's a marquee team. They're a marquee team. They're
They are.
a team that has a fan base around the world. And then obviously getting
that's what it's going to take to get them on national TV, is sending them to Europe. I like it.
I think it would be a fun game too. I just kind of like it. The next one I have, Vilnius. We're going to Lithuania, one of the great basketball nations in the
Yes.
world. We're getting the Sacramento Kings versus the New Orleans Pelicans. This one is an interdivision game, but what do we have? Domantas Sabonis and Big Val Valanciunas. We get 2 Lithuanians matching up with opposite each other, playing the same position. That would be a great one.
That'd be great. Especially because Sabonis plays like that style, right? He plays like his dad for
Sure.
in a lot of ways. So it would be very sort of, people would appreciate it over there. So I like it. Good pick.
And then the last one I have, the number 2 basketball nation of the last 20 years. Number 1 being the U.S., of course, but the number 2, Spain. Not a ton of great Spaniards at the moment, but I am going to send them the Cleveland Cavaliers because they do have Ricky Rubio. So, all right, we'll send him there.
Yeah.
And then I'm giving them the Warriors. I'm giving them the Warriors.
Yep.
The marquee team.
Yep. Is anybody like not on here? Like no Philadelphia. That's fine. I don't think anybody really cares. Yeah, that's good.
If we talk about countries, I mean, look, Paris is a big country. You go to London, like I get it. I don't know that there's a lot of money to be made in Belgrade and Ljubljana and Vilnius. Like this is why I don't think the NBA would ever do these. But I do think like people would fly in from European countries, from Germany, from France, from London to go to these places. But more than anything, I think it would just be neat to show America and show the NBA audience that, hey, basketball is really growing in these other places and it means a lot to them. And I think it would go a long way to sort of telling an important story that the NBA has neglected to tell.
And get it off of NBA TV. Put it on ESPN. Put it on TNT. The game was on NBA TV.
Unbelievable. Pistons. Wow.
Zach LaVine scored 30. The Bulls got the win. Good for them, I guess. Joakim Noah made an appearance. Victor Wembanyama was on the sideline. Star-studded affair. Not really, but it was cool. But yeah, get this game off of NBA. I'm with you. Get it off. You could do a whole ESPN all week doing features about the whatever country it is, sending the report. It would be very, very cool. I agree with you. They should do more of it. We'll see if it actually happens. Look, they've been trying to expand a little bit. Mexico City, France. They're doing stuff all around. I think it would be good. We'll see. All right, that'll do it for today's Locked On NBA. Thank you for making us your first listen today. Now make your second listen Game to Game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA. It's available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts.